Hi, welcome to Historical Fiction with Kvietoslav. And today I'd like to focus on what I consider one of the great masterpieces of Viking Age fiction from the 20th century, because I like to focus on books written in the 20th century. Excuse me. And this one is called The Long Ships by Frans G. Bengtsson. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that because I don't speak Swedish. The author was Swedish, and he wrote this book, I think, in 1954. There we go. And it was originally written in Swedish and translated into English. And I would say this one is a copy from 1977, which is a paperback copy there. And I would say, yeah, don't be distracted by the cover art there. I think that was the choice of the publisher rather than the author to have the Viking horns on there. There's nothing in the book that mentions Viking horns, that kind of anachronism. So the book's actually very authentic. He based it on some Norse sagas. And basically he used the stories and kind of wrote them into a more, say, palatable style overall. And the book concerns roughly the years 980 AD to 1010 AD there, and basically covers the life of a man from Scandia called Red Orm. They point out that although now Scandia is in Sweden, he would have considered himself a Dane at that time. And it's a really excellent book, well written, good dialogue, good adventure, quite long, about 477 pages there. And I'd say what I like best about the book is the story. It's kind of divided up into these chapters, as you'll see, and the chapters each have kind of names there. So how Orm built his house and church, and how they named his red-headed daughter, concerning the story of the boulder gold, and so on there. Which some people might not like, but I actually it's very authentic to the period, where you would often kind of title what the chapter was about. And it's also divided up really nicely into kind of 4 parts there, which basically make up the bulk of Red Orm's life. So you can see the first part focuses on what they call the Long Voyage, which was when he and his men sailed to Andalusia in Spain, which was at that time occupied by Islamic Moors, and kind of the adventures that he has with Al-Mansur, the leader there. And then he returns to Scandia. He participates in the Battle of Malden, which was quite a famous battle in Britain. And then third part, he has kind of a lot of adventures at home. These are kind of where he's got a family, and he's dealing with the missionaries and other kind of local problems there. And then in the final part, it's got he goes on one kind of final adventure this time to the east, into the Scandinavian Rus and Bulgaria, looking for Bulgar gold. And I think it reflects, and I think it's because it's based on the sagas, kind of reflects on, a typical life there, where, he had his big adventures, much like myself, so I can relate. I had kind of my big adventures in my early 20s, and then now in my 50s, I'd like to kind of settle down a bit more and not really travel as much until maybe when I get older, I might try to have one kind of final adventure. But overall, I'd highly recommend this one. You can find it online, and this copy I actually got from a used bookstore in Notting Hill in London when I visited. And again, I highly recommend it. There's also a film with Sidney Poitier and Richard Widmark, which is not bad. It only concerns a small portion of the book, and I think it's not quite as good as the book. But overall, big recommendation: The Long Ships by Frans G. Bengtsson.